Tesla pickup truck unveiling is just around the corner, and of course the biggest question is what's next? What is the next model that Tesla is going to if not unveil, at least tease us with, right? Because we're kind of out of all the models that they've promised for a while, and it's hard to believe that they don't have anything else that they're working on. And I think I have a pretty good idea, at least an educated guess, if you will, what's coming next. Now, the pickup truck is definitely going to be one of the biggest unveilings they ever had, at least biggest anticipated unveilings that they ever have. And I have a feeling that because this company lives on hype, right, and suspense, they're going to tease something for us. Maybe the way they tease the pickup truck picture, but some sort of an idea of what to expect next. At first, I thought, well, I'm not really sure if they have capacity to do stuff, and if they have enough factories. But the thing is, even if they were to tease a picture or whatever of the unveiling, by the time that car will see the light of day, we're talking about a few years, probably 3 years or so. And by then, a lot of stuff can happen, right? The Shanghai factory opened within 9 months of breaking ground, so we can expect other amazing things from Tesla. And I at first thought that maybe they should have kind of moved or not have this unveiling so close to the Model Y. Model Y was like 6-7 months ago, and I know the movie says, the Blade Runner movie says that it's gonna be November 2019. It's a nice touch, but listen, it's a public company. You got to run it with some bigger ideas in mind than matching a movie, though it just, like I said, it's pretty cool. All right, now before I tell you what I think, I'm going to tell you what I think the name is going to be, when the unveiling is going to be, when the production will start, the range, and a few other things, including the price. First, let's just determine what are the things that Tesla needs right now as far as keeping the hype going. And number one, I have to say, it's the cliffhanger, right? They've always kind of kept us in suspense about the next big thing. And right now, if they just unveil the pickup truck, there really won't be anything else to kind of talk about or look forward to. And that's not how Tesla does business. So I say my money is on the fact that they're going to tease something at the unveiling or maybe shortly after, because I just don't see Tesla not hanging something really cool above our heads but saying, oh, you can't see it just yet. Now, secondly, even though Model 3 finally does start at the $35,000, well, $35,400, and $400, I think, it is off the menu, and it's such a stripped down version that nobody really wants it. It really starts about, 37,000 here. In other countries, it's much more expensive. We're talking about 40s and even 50s, just as a standard range model. So you can't really say that this is for the masses, right? And as a matter of fact, I hear this a lot. A lot of people say, listen, even $35,000 starting price, that's not for the masses. I have a feeling that in the next few years, and obviously Tesla's looking ahead, that they will say, hey, listen, we need to start appealing to really the mass market for sure. And now, I think there are reasons why I think they can't produce a car that will be even cheaper. But we'll talk about price in a second. The third one is, upsell platform. They need to have as wide of an upsell platform as possible. And now that we see them charging, what, $7,000 at this point to upgrade to the full self-driving feature, and it's going to keep going up and up and up. By the time this car's out, it might be $10,000 really. It's not that big a bad of idea to essentially acquire or adopt a ink printer type of or copier machine type of a business model where you sell stuff for maybe a little bit of profit or no profit, but that then you sell something else like digital products and so forth. I personally think that the way the car dealerships for legacy manufacturers should make money, since they won't be able to make money on maintenance pretty soon because electric cars and stuff, they should sell digital products, including this is the biggest digital automotive product out there, which is the full self-driving package for Tesla. Now, I'm not a big fan of it, but there are tons of people who are, and I believe there has been I don't even want to name the number, but there's hundreds of millions of dollars, I believe, that Tesla is holding as and recognized, I believe it's called, income, and it looks like a lot of it came from sales of the full self-driving package. So essentially, when you're going to be selling the cheaper cars, they may not make a profit on the car itself, but they will make profits on other digital upgrades that I'm sure they'll have beyond the full self-driving features. I'm sure they'll charge for internet. They will charge, especially that they'll have their own. They'll charge for maybe Netflix subscriptions and Spotify subscriptions and stuff like that. So I think it's a great way to go. So that car may not need to make a profit, and therefore it can be much cheaper. All right, so let's talk about the name, the price, all of that stuff. Where I think it's going. I think it's going. I'm speculating, by the way. So feel free to play along in the comment section. But I have a feeling I might just be right on a lot of these. Before I go any further, of course, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out their all-electric SUV called M-Byte, coming to the US, coming to Europe much sooner than you might think. I cannot wait to own mine, and if you want to own yours, you better get in line. Over 50,000 of people reserve one. The best part is there is absolutely no money down. You don't have to pay anything to reserve this. So go to the description of this video to reserve your Byton today. All right, so let's move on. What I think the name is going to be, and honestly, I think it's just going to be called Model 2. I think it's going to be, obviously a smaller, cheaper model than the Model 3. And, since they have this whole sexy thing going on, I'm thinking, well, what else could it be? And, too sexy? That would be kind of cool. That could be a hashtag trending. So Model 2, right? A little bit less than Model 3 kind of makes sense. So I think that's what the name is going to be. Let's talk about the unveiling. I think the unveil will happen in about a year, maybe also during the LA Auto Show. I mean, that's what Tesla is going to do. Then the first day of the auto show, they're going to unveil this car. And I think, it's reasonable. They'll probably already start working on it, unveil it in fall of 2020, which brings me to the production date, which I think will be at the end of 2021. And by then, I mean, at least that's what they'll announce. That means that they'll just need to make 1 or 10 or whatever. The real production will be in 2022, and I think that's a reasonable timeline. I mean, obviously they'll have to build a factory, and they can definitely do that within the next 2-3 years. And yeah, that's what I'm going to bet on. Now let's talk about the range. Now here's what I think. I think the range is going to be, starting range at 250 miles, and I think it's going to be much cheaper than what it takes to make these batteries to go 250 miles now, because they have the Maxwell technology. Everything that I hear about it from outside and even inside of Tesla is that this is going to be a major change in it's going to be a pretty big leap in their battery technology. So the whole 250 mile range may not be actually that expensive for them to make, or that big of a deal for them to make in 3 years. So I think that's what's going to be. And by then, I think people will realize that 250 miles, that's a lot of miles. Even if you go with all of the air conditioning, heater, and wind resistance, even if it goes down under 200, that's still a lot of range, especially if you're not paying that much for the car. Now, what kind of car is going to be? Now, I believe it's going to be 2-door compact car, probably hatchback, something like ID3 from Volkswagen or e-Golf or whatever you want to call it. Because one, we know it's going to sell great in China, it's going to sell great in Europe, but here in the US, I think people who limited with in their budgets, and especially you don't have to pay for gas as much. I think it's a very acceptable car as well. So I think that's what's going to be. As far as the design is concerned, and I think it's going to be kind of a hybrid between the Model 3 and the Model Y, right? That would be reasonable, but of course we'll see. Now, number one thing that of course I think what's going to happen with the price, I think they're going to start at $25,000. Just like I said, I think the batteries are going to be much more advanced, and therefore they won't cost as much to drive the 250 miles. And who knows, maybe they'll start at 200 miles, which will be very much acceptable. I think the 2-door car will cost less. They've learned quite a few lessons, and maybe they'll build another factory in China and they will import it here. I think that will depend on the tariff war and all that stuff. Though they can also do something that Biden looks like they're doing, is build the parts in China but assemble it in South Korea. Avoid all the big Chinese tariffs, and there you go. So we'll see if it works for Biden, but I'm just saying there are workarounds. So they and just like I said, $25,000, even if they make $1,000 or $2,000 in profit, but then start upselling other packages like full self-driving package that might be $10,000 by then. Hey, listen, this is not bad at all, right? Let me know what you think. What do you I mean, first of all, do you think another model is coming? And if so, tell me what the price and type and other parameters are going to be. I'm kind of curious to know. I guess we're just going to crowdsource this. Now, just like I said, I'm going to the LA Auto Show, and hopefully, I don't know yet, Tesla unveiling. I'm going to the Ford all-electric car unveiling as well. They've already sent us a gift. Boom. Nice. And if you want to kind of follow me and see what I'm doing there and some of the behind the scenes footage and some funny stuff, me and Tom and Eli hanging out, go and follow me at E4 Electric on Instagram. And also don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. We call it VIP list because you should feel like a VIP because one, it's free. Two, you get a bonus story every Saturday, sometimes Sunday when I'm, out and about, and it's free. It goes into your inbox. Bonus story, something's a really cool electric car story that we just didn't have space to cover on this channel or even on the website. The link is in the description of this video, but you can just go to e4electric.com/VIP. All right, I am looking forward to your comments and to your guesses, to your vision. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.